Starting this week, we are going to begin mini lessons on writing processes to help improve all areas of your writing. These mini lessons will focus on argumentative writing, narrative writing, informative writing, and text-dependent analysis writing. In these lessons, I will present information, model write, and then you will independently practice the skills. The goal of these lessons is to prepare you for the writing portion of the PSSA. Each week on Wednesday, you will build onto the skills you learned the week prior until you have a finished product to submit for evaluation. Today, we are going to begin with argumentative writing. The first step you need to do today is you need to save a folder in My Files for you to save all of your writing into. When we're done with a particular writing piece, this might take 4 weeks, this might take 5 weeks, but when we are finished and you have everything saved in My Files, you are going to submit that final product to receive a grade that will be incorporated into your language arts grade. After you've saved a file in My Files for you to use to store all of this information that we are using throughout these mini lessons on Wednesday, then you're ready to begin. Today we're going to start by taking a look at the writer's checklist for the argumentative writing prompt of the PSSA. This writer's checklist will be provided to you during the PSSA and you can refer to it at any time while testing. Let's take a look at the writer's checklist together. The first step for the argumentative writing prompt is to plan. Before you start writing, you want to make sure you understand what the prompt is asking you to do. Most of the time, the prompt is going to add some random statements in with the actual question to kind of try to throw you off. And it's your job to first, before you start writing, uncover what the question is really asking you. After you do that, you're going to think about who your audience is. Are you writing to a superintendent? Are you writing to a teacher? Are you writing to a peer? Depending on who you're writing to, you're going to have a different tone. You're either going to have a very academic tone or a more casual, personable tone if you're writing to a peer. You're going to think about the topic and the claim that you want to support for that topic. So for argumentative writing, you have to take a stance on an argument. You can't be on both sides of an argument when you are writing an argumentative piece. You need to choose one clear, distinct side of the argument, and then you're going to find some support for that. The next step is you're going to organize your ideas on scratch paper, and you can do this through the use of a map or an outline or a graphic organizer. After you go through the planning process, you're going to start focusing for your writing. You're going to state a claim about the topic, support your claim with reasons and evidence, present one or more alternate or opposing claims, which is called a counter-argument, which we will get to in another mini lesson. You'll organize your paper with an introduction, body, and conclusion paragraph, and you will use transitions to connect your ideas. Each of these is going to be a separate mini lesson that we'll do, and at the end we'll put all of the pieces together to construct a final piece that you'll submit for a grade. After you write and you have your final product on the page, you want to make sure that you proofread before it's actually turned in. So ask yourself these 3 questions. Did I stay on topic? Did I stay focused, or did I go off topic with random side thoughts? If you did, you need to revise it so that it stays on topic. Did you use reasons and evidence to support your claim? And did you correct any errors with capitalization, spelling, sentence formation, punctuation, and word choice? We will be going through a proofreading mini lesson that you will use before you submit your final product. Now that we've gone over the argumentative writing prompt writer's checklist, let's take a look at some other useful tools that we're going to be referring to while doing our writing piece. The first is a list of the Dirty Dozen errors in academic form. This is a list of different criteria that you want to keep in mind when you're writing your paper. For example, number 1, the pronoun I, including but not limited to I feel, I believe, I think. These should not be in your paper for the PSSA. that is not an academic writing tone. So you want to make sure that you skim your work and look for I, and anywhere you mistakenly put an I, you'll need to take that out and replace it, which we'll practice. You want to keep out phrases like, in my opinion, or like I said before, I'll tell you, or this is about. You want to stay away from the use of contractions. And contractions are whenever you are pushing two words together. So for example, instead of having do not, don't is the contraction version. So you want to make sure you do not include any contractions in your academic writing. You never want to use absolutes like never or always. You want to stay away from questions or exclamations. And you definitely do not want to end your paper with the end. I know you might think it is impactful or funny, but the scores for the PSSAs do not. Other phrases to stay away from are due to the fact of, to start with, to begin with, in regards to, and another example, reason or thing, is that. These are 12 dirty dozen academic errors that we want to stay away from with our writing. So we will keep these in mind as we're going through our example piece today. So today I'm going to start with taking a look at an example of a real PSSA argumentative writing prompt. I'm going to read through this one, model how to construct an introductory paragraph, and then you are going to receive a different argumentative writing prompt where you will use the model to construct your own introductory paragraph. Let's take a look at the first writing prompt together. This will be my example prompt. It says you will have at least 30 minutes to plan, write, and proofread your response to this prompt. It sounds like a lot of time, but once you see how many different steps you need to go through to complete this and to construct a perfect paper, you'll realize that that time actually is not that long. So let's take a look at the prompt. It says something that schools should put more focus on a particular area of study. For example, some schools might focus more on science. In these schools, students might take more classes in science, math, and technology. Other schools might focus more on the arts by offering students more opportunities in theater, music, and visual arts. Should schools focus on a particular area of study? Write an argumentative essay for your teacher supporting your claim about whether schools should or should not focus on a particular area of study. Be sure to use reasons and evidence to develop your argument. Okay, so step one, and we're using that argumentative writer's checklist here. Step one is make sure you understand what the prompt is asking you to do. So here we're skimming through and we're looking for the actual question, and we see, should schools focus on a particular area of study? So that's going to be what the question is actually asking us. So we can take some of this other information and set it aside for now. The second thing you want to do is you want to ask yourself, what is the audience? Who am I writing this to? So with what is the audience, our answer is explicitly told to us in this first sentence, in the second mini paragraph here. Write an argumentative essay for your teacher supporting your claim. So for who is the audience or what is the audience, this one is going to be a teacher. Why is it important for us to think about the audience? Well, if you're writing a letter to your teacher, you're going to have a different tone. You're going to use different words than you would if you were writing a letter to a friend or to your parent. For example, you wouldn't use words like yeah or dude or awesome if you're talking to a teacher in a formal writing piece, where you would if you were talking to a friend. So this is definitely going to stay in the argumentative, academic writing tone. Okay. So there's another reference guide we're going to use to help us today construct our introductory paragraph. That is the only piece that we're going to focus on today. And for doing that, we're going to take a look at something called the funnel model. The funnel model is a specific guideline of what you should do to create a strong introductory paragraph. And there are 3 steps to creating a strong introductory paragraph. The first step is to create a general statement. This is very broad statement. You're not putting any specific pieces in yet, and you're not supposed to mention the topic. So taking a look at the actual topic, the topic is, should school districts focus on science and math, or should school districts focus on just art, or do you think it's important for schools to focus on all of these areas at once? So that is the main topic here that we're going to bring in. And we have to take a stance. Should schools focus on a particular area of study? I have to come up with a yes or no answer to this. And that's the first step really to create an argumentative paper, is to take a stance. Am I pro or am I con for this argument? So for me particularly, I'm going to say that I think all schools should include all of the different subject areas. And so that's what I'm going to be building towards. So I'm going to start with a general statement. I'm not mentioning the topic, which is all of these different areas of study and how schools are focusing on either one or the other. I'm going to just make a general statement that I think could play into this later on. So the piece that I came up with here that I wrote for my general statement is going to be, while some middle school and high school students have an idea about what they want to do when they graduate, most are still learning what their strengths and interests include. This is a general statement. I'm talking about middle school students and their future and how they don't really know what they want to do yet. They're still thinking about what their interests are, what their strengths are. Am I specifically mentioning any piece from the prompt so far? No, I'm not. But I'm strategically coming up with this idea because I know it's going to kind of funnel into the main idea that I'm going to bring up at the end. So for my general statement, again, I put, while some middle school and high school students have an idea about what they want to do when they graduate, most are still learning what their strengths and interests include. So I'm going to color code this for you, and I'm going to make this piece here yellow because it is the general statement part of my funnel model. Okay. The next piece I'm going to do is I'm going to start stating the topic. So I'm going to introduce the topic in a general way. So now I have to bring in this idea of schools either focusing on one particular area of study or all areas of study. So to do this, I have typed up a piece that I think does this. It's a model. So I'm going to start pulling in specific pieces from the writing prompt. I wrote, having an array of different classes helps students explore multiple areas of study in order to help them in this discovery process. Some may uncover that they have a passion for arts, while others may find that they have a talent for analytical endeavors. Without exposure to this broad spectrum or broad selection of study areas, students may have difficulty selecting a future career path that is well suited to them. So see, I'm proofreading here. Need to fix that. When schools choose to focus on particular areas of study, they are limiting students' personal growth. Okay, so I'm taking this idea that middle school and high school is really a time for students to discover what they're interested in. And this is a time when they learn about their strengths and what they're really good at and what they have a passion for. So this really has nothing to do with the topic specifically presented in the prompt, but I'm using it to kind of introduce the topic. So now I'm saying that having all of these classes, having math and science and technology and art and theater and music, helps to give us a whole bunch of different areas to explore and to see what we're interested in. So now I've introduced the topic at hand, and I've used this general statement that's not necessarily related to the prompt to introduce that topic that was in the writing prompt. So after I have my general statement and then I bring it into the actual topic, I'm going to construct a thesis. And a thesis statement is going to be you specifically stating your side of the argument and then giving 2 to 3 reasons why that is your side of the argument. So now that I've talked about the topic and I've kind of hinted at my side of the argument, I'm going to specifically state what side of the argument I'm on and 2 to 3 reasons why that is my side of the argument. So for this, I wrote my thesis statement. And I put, schools should not focus on particular areas of study. That is me stating my opinion, and that's how you start a thesis statement. You start by specifically stating your side of the argument. So schools should not focus on particular areas of study because now I'm going to list my 2 reasons that support this side of the argument. So number 1, I put, doing so could prevent students from discovering their strengths and interests. And I need more reasons to back me up. So I'm going to do a second reason. And it could cause students who are interested in an area which is not being focused on to become disinterested in school. This whole piece here is what's called my thesis statement. I want to highlight this so it goes with this funnel model. Okay, so a quick review of what we've done to construct a strong introductory paragraph. What we first started with was reading through the prompt and determining what is the question asking me. After you determine what is the question actually asking, you're also determining who is the audience here. Who am I writing to? Usually with a PSSA, you're going to be writing to a teacher or a superintendent or a community member, someone that you would need formal writing for. So the next thing that we did was we started to follow this funnel model. We're starting with a general statement. It is very broad and you are not mentioning the topic. So I mentioned an idea that I had that I thought could tie into this and I could use to introduce the topic, and I put that first. After you have that general statement and you're not mentioning the topic, then you're going into the specific topic. So you're tying in pieces from the actual writing prompt that you're provided. And the last piece of constructing your own introductory paragraph is to create a thesis statement. And the thesis statement comes at the end of that introductory paragraph. So the thesis statement should state your side of the argument. So you're going to say something along the lines of, schools should not focus on particular areas of study. Or you could take the opposite stance, schools should focus on particular areas of study. And then you're providing 2 to 3 reasons why you believe this. So for today, we're going to do 2 reasons. So my reason 1 was doing this could prevent students from discovering their strengths and interests. And my second reason is it could cause students who are interested in an area which is not being focused on to become disinterested in school. So there you have it. There's the example introductory paragraph, and that would be perfect because it models after this funnel construct. And also keeping in mind here that it is not violating any of the dirty dozen. So you'll notice I didn't have any I pronouns in here. If I put, I believe schools should not focus on particular areas of study, I would have to go in and fix that because with the PSSA, you may not use those pronouns. I didn't put in my opinion. I didn't use any contractions. There are no questions, no explanations. And I didn't use any of these phrases that we are not supposed to use. So you want to keep this out. You want to think about these while you're writing. You want to use your funnel construct or your funnel model while writing. And you want to move from a general statement to the main topic to finally your very specific thesis statement. So you should have 3 distinct areas in your introductory paragraph. So now that I've done this example for you, and I will put this example in eBackpack so you have it to look at. I will put the funnel diagram in eBackpack so you have this to look at, and I will have the Dirty Dozen in the eBackpack folder for you to look at as well. What you are going to do now is you are going to create your own introductory paragraph that follows this model. So your writing prompt is going to be different than mine because I don't want you just copying my writing piece here. I want you to actually make your own. So your writing prompt is going to be as follows. It says, your school is considering a change in the way class presidents are chosen. Some students want to create a small committee, which in turn would choose the class president. On the other hand, there are those students who want all students in the class to be able to vote for their choice of class president. Think about which method of choosing the class president you believe is most effective. Write an argumentative essay for your teacher stating your claim about whether a small committee of students or all the students in the class should be allowed to choose the class president. Be sure to use your reasons and evidence to develop your argument. Okay, this is your writing prompt, and it will be for the next few weeks while we're working on this. So your goal today is to create an introductory paragraph that uses this funnel model while also taking a look and avoiding the dirty dozen. So what I want you to do is create your introductory paragraph that has these three pieces to it, and I want you to highlight your general statement yellow, your topic pieces blue, and your thesis statement pink, so that I can see that you are following this funnel model. Once you have your introductory paragraph saved and you have your three pieces highlighted, then you are done for today. But this must be completed and saved into My Files, and I want you to have a specific folder for these PSSA writing mini lessons. So please have that saved, your introductory paragraph saved to that file by the end of the period so that I can see that you have been working on it and so that we can build on this next week. If you have any questions while constructing your introductory paragraph, please come see me. I'm here to help you. But please make sure that you are using the example that I've provided on eBackpack, the Dirty Dozen list that I've provided on eBackpack, and the funnel model that is there for you as well. So you have all four of these pieces to help you be successful today. Good luck.